Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday afternoon to you all. It's your girl, Shay Marie. So, I wanted to come on very quickly and do this video. And I'm going to send out an invite. I'm going to share this out right quick. So, give me a moment. But I wanted to do this video. Particularly, you guys know that I love listening to Miss Lynette Zhang, who is from ITM Trading. She's a full service gold and silver dealer. But I love her wisdom and I love her information that she provides. And so I just wanted to share it with you. She really has information to keep us average people, to help us keep our finances safe, in so many words. And so I think we all should be, taking less risk. We can't depend on these people. I don't understand why people keep playing these games of getting in the stock game and things of that nature, knowing that, these people are corrupt and they have pretty much control over, everything, and they drive the prices up. They entice you into investing your money into these stocks and bonds and getting you in a trick bag, driving the prices of the stock up, and then when it's all said and done and you think that you've hit the lottery, here goes the system crashing. And so we got to stop playing that game. We got to stop playing that game. You got to get out of the system of debt. And the only way for you to do that is for you to be equipped with the knowledge and equipped with the information that you need to be able to make the right decisions with your money. So I'm going to play Miss Lynette Zhang. This video is about 35 minutes long, so I hope you got your notes and your notebook and your pen to take down some copious notes so that you can learn how to keep yourself out of bondage and stop playing these games with the economic system that is already corrupt. I don't know how many times we have to get you guys to see that the dollar is not your dollar, it's their dollar, and they can tax you on it at any time. And so you got to get out of that system and you got to start operating on the right side of money. And that's with gold and silver, you guys. So I'm going to play Miss Lynette.
And you got to have a plan. Look at what's happening. I don't know how many of you guys have been watching this, but through Reddit, which is basically a platform, a social media platform, people come together, they talk, and they're targeting the short sellers, the hedge funds. We're going to look at some really, really interesting things today. But, you've got, now I know that this is reversing because this slide is from yesterday, and today is another very different day. However, you can see how the traders at places like Robinhood, those free trades, have pushed up these stocks that are frankly in dire straits and could very well go out of business. And we saw the same thing with Hertz. It was going bankrupt and they thought about issuing new stock because of the traders pushing this up. It's really kind of interesting though. Now, this could be, there's so many moving parts to this. It could be, as one of the co-founders of Reddit said, that investors are now having their chance to flex back at hedge funds, shifting the power to small investors. So it is certainly possible and probable, and it looks like, that we've got a battle of Wall Street going on. Part of what you have to ask yourself is, what part of this battle do you want? What part of this fight do you want? Okay, because you should always, of course, pick your battles. But he said that the Gamestop short squeeze. Now, a short, and I need to just slow down for a second, I'm sorry. Okay. A short is when you sell stock that you do not own with the intention of then going into the market and buying it back at a lower price and there you have your profit. You sold it at this price. Well, in theory anyway. You sold it at this price, you're buying it at this price, and that's all profit. But there are no limitation to losses. Now, with GameStop in particular, hedge funds had sold 138% of the stock. You might be going, well, how can they do that? It's called leverage, right? So then through Reddit, a group, well, we don't really know who all is behind this, so they want us to think that it's all the little investor. I'm not really so sure of that, but at any rate, came in and started through buying the stock directly and also derivatives of the stock. And remember, we've talked about this quite a bit. It is much cheaper to buy the derivative than it is the actual underlying asset, and that's leverage. So between those two pieces, though, of course, the stock is up this month. Okay, we're not even at the end of the month yet. 2,000%, though I think at the moment it's now down 44%. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Consequently, those hedge funds that had sold all of that stock that they do not own, some were forced to go in and cover their shorts. But that's called a short squeeze. So they target the most vulnerable areas, and GameStop, that's not the only one, but that's one of them, was certainly one of those. So to go in and buy, push that price up. So now you can't sell it at here and buy it back at here. Now you sold it at here, but there's no limitation on losses. So $5 billion year to date. We're only in January. We haven't even finished January. How are those hedge funds surviving? Because I haven't really heard yet the blow up and the death of these hedge funds. We're going to look at that in a few minutes. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. I found it really, really interesting. But now, at the moment that I pulled that this morning, Robinhood had restricted trading in GameStop and other names involved in the frenzy. Wait a minute. Robinhood is supposed to be for the little guy. Free trading. They turn trading into a game on the computer. We'll talk more about that in a minute too. Republicans in Washington warn Wall Street the GameStop populists are more powerful than you think. I don't know that it's just the little guys, though, because this is pretty sophisticated, really. And GameStop shares fall halted several times after brokers placed restrictions on trade. And then finally, with Reddit-backed investors storming the street, traders decipher the gaming of GameStop. So part of what I really want you to see in here is that the game is changing. It is part of the reset of the financial system. Will it really be in the average investor's benefit? You know, just like they have an opportunity to change the system, so do we if enough of us come together. That's the importance of community. It really is. But in top stories, Citadel. Now, I'm going to talk more about Citadel, but they are a retail market maker. The wholesale market makers, like the big commercial banks and the big Wall Street brokerages, well, they've really gotten out of that game, but you have Citadel, a private corporation that has gone in. That's also the arm that sold a lot of those stocks short. Okay, so this is a private company. Of course, they have sub-companies as well. And I'll explain more about what they do. But truthfully, there is no such thing as a free lunch. You know, I mean, that's what I said when Robinhood came out and said, no, with free trading. What, are they doing it for nothing? I don't think so. So interestingly enough, Robinhood gets almost half of its revenue bargaining with high-speed traders. Guess who those are? Citadel, the retail market makers. Robinhood Markets Inc. has built a reputation. So it came out and says that it was born from the Occupy Wall Street movement. And, you know, the biggest problem, you might recall that after the 2008 crisis. And it lasted for a really long time, and it was a global movement. But they didn't really understand what the real problem is, which is really the underlying fiat money system and the fact that we're at the end of its life cycle. And so it took a while, but after a while, it fizzled out. So presumably Robinhood was born from that. And they had the steal from the rich, give to the poor kind of image, bringing in but Citadel, more than 40% of its revenue is generated from Citadel. So they can cut off the traders that they're not really making, like they're not charging any fees to, because Citadel is really who they work for. Almost all retail brokerages, and this is how this game is done, almost all retail brokerages employ the practice called payment for order flow. But it's an unlikely strategy for a company that's built on anti-Wall Street message. Yeah, no, because you've always got to look behind the curtain. When something looks too good to be true, it probably is. Recently, 6-7 months ago, zero-fee trading helped Citadel Securities cash in on retail boom. So they are definitely Robinhood and Citadel. I'm sorry, you guys. Go in and take a look at it for yourself. You've got all the links. Dig even deeper. You'll see. These guys had a relationship before they started Robinhood. And they knew they knew what their business model was going to look like. So they're going to say, this is free.
Of course,
just like UBI, Universal Basic Income. This is free. We're just going to give this to you. The cost is typically very dear. But interestingly enough, they kind of seem to have perhaps turned the tables on them. However, let me get back to this. Chicago-based Citadel Securities accounts for 40 of every 100 shares traded by individual investors in the U.S., making it the #1 retail market maker. I don't think this is an accident or a coincidence. And the way that they make money is by automatically taking the other side of the order. Mm-hmm. So you're going to buy it, they're going to sell it, and then going back into the market and flipping the trade. Mm-hmm. So they're shorting the shares, and they're also flipping a trade, and they make all the money. You're going to see a graph in a minute that's going to show you how much this boom has happened since those $1,200 stimulus checks went out. Bear with me on that. Okay. This matters to you because we are in an incestuously interconnected system. I gotta take you back to September 2019. And someone commented to me that, I got really upset about a year-ish ago. Well, this is when I got really upset. Because when the repo market exploded back in September of 2019, without a doubt in my mind, I knew that this was really like the death knell. Coronavirus timing it couldn't have been better, honestly. It couldn't have been better. Is that a coincidence? I'll let you decide that for yourself. But the Bank of England did a study, and they found that hedge funds can use those repo markets to increase their leverage, and that magnifies their gains and also their potential losses. The whole financial system is a house of cards based upon leverage. Is this going to be the piece that topples the entire system? Because we cannot lose sight. I mean, all of this, the repos and the futures and all that, these are all derivatives. And it's so much bigger than we know. It's so much bigger than what we can see. Oops. Okay, so I want you to take a look at, this is hedge funds increased their cash borrowing via repos in 2019. And this graph happens to, from the Bank of England, goes back to 2016. So it used to be hedge funds would lend cash. So the dark blue is them lending, and the lighter blue, or sort of purpley, is their borrowing, right? Look at where the shift happened, right here. Actually, it happened back in April, started to happen back in April of 2017, and then this is April of 2019. And then this is the gold, is the net borrowing, and you can see how small it was here. You probably can barely even see it, and you can see how it exploded here. October, this is April. They knew this. They know all of this. You don't change the behavior. You simply change the rules. Now, does that make the system safer? No. It makes it more dangerous. So, hedge funds could make one potential Fed repo market fix hard to stomach, and they did this. I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay, now keep in mind, this is recent, 1/14/20. This is the cash that was in the system. I'm going to read this whole thing. It's small. Please bear with me. Hedge funds currently borrow through a process called sponsored repo, in which they ask a large bank to act as a middleman, pairing their government bonds with money market funds willing to lend cash. Now, you might recall back in September 2019, they were not willing to lend the cash. You had this massive, very rapid spike in interest rates, and the money markets, the system froze. It froze. Do you hold your money in a money market? Because the same thing happened in 2008. And what did they do? They changed the rules, making it harder and more expensive for you to get out, to halt a run. That's what happened in September 2019. They did not want you, the regular investor, to know that the money markets had frozen. Didn't want you to know that. Because if you actually knew the truth, you might make different choices. How many times can you be lied to when you do not know the truth? Every single time. That's what my work is all about. Showing you the truth and giving you the links for you to do your own due diligence. Don't take my word for anything, but do not take their word for anything.
Right.
Do your own due diligence. I'm getting chills. Do your own due diligence. It is critically important. We are so close to a collapse. Could this bring about the collapse? I don't know. What are they going to do? I went in, by the way. I didn't pull it up because it's registering at 0, but I went in to see what the Fed was doing with the repos right now. Because remember how we were following it? They can do up to 500 billion, which basically means unlimited in repos. At this point, I'm not seeing that trickle through, but I'm going to keep my eye on it because it has to be. But just wait. Just bear with me on this. Okay. The bank then guarantees that the parties will fulfill their obligations, repaying the cash or returning the securities. firms trading through the FICC, we're going to look at that, contribute to a fund that would cover a borrower's default. Critics of the new plan say if the fund lends cash directly through the clearinghouse, it could end up contributing to a hedge fund bailout. Now, here's the thing. I can't really quite tell yet, and I'm going to do more digging on it. So I might talk about this next week. I might not, but I'm going to keep paying attention to this, and I'll let you know what I find. But what their solution was, and remember, this is just back in January, so like a year ago. I don't know if this has fully been put in place yet. I couldn't really tell from what I looked at yet. But one potential solution is to lend cash directly to smaller banks, security dealers, and hedge funds through the repo market's clearinghouse, the Fixed Income Clearing Corp, or FICC. Okay? Now, if the hedge fund is using the bank as the middleman and they're guaranteeing repayment, and they've lost just this month $5 billion, and we aren't seeing an explosion in the repo market as far as the lending goes, which I looked this morning, I have not seen any. I will keep looking at that. Is this a backdoor bailout? Is this a backdoor bailout? And where do you hold your fiat dollars? In one of the big commercial banks? Probably. Right. This is why you need to have some cash out of the system. And this is why you need to have physical gold and silver that is invisible and completely out of the system. And I'm going to get to more on silver in just a few minutes. But you can certainly see this is from October 2019 to January of 2020. And look at how the Fed repo market lending, though it is not reflected on the Fed's, that's interesting. I got to look at this some more. Bear with me. I'll come back on this next week because they're showing it here, Fed repo market, but it was not on the Fed's website itself. That's a really interesting thing. But I do need you to know, so I'll come back to that all of this is interconnected to you, whether you realize it or not. That's why it's important. That's why you have to pay attention to this. That's why you have to have a plan and get into position to weather this massive storm. Because you can see how much the hedge funds benefit as being a retail market maker. So the banks that have gotten away from that have simply transferred that risk. But this is March and April, and the dark blue is Citadel. I don't think they're offsetting those losses. And this is from the DTCC. Now let me remind you guys, because I've talked about this quite a bit over the years, but some of you may be new viewers. DTC or DTCC, which is one and the same entity, is a firm that was created, or it's a private corporation that was created by all the banks and the hedge funds and the big insurance companies to be the custodial entity of all fiat money products. So any of your wealth that you hold at a bank or in a brokerage account or in an annuity or any of that stuff, the true legal registered owner, regardless of your personal perception, is DTCC. They are the legal owner, not you. You're just the beneficial owner. And maybe, Edgar, I know I've done some specific work on that. Would you make a note to pull up that link, and we'll post it on the blog. So for those that are new to it or those that want a refresher, then you can go back and you can look at that. But so these are new current members that can go in and borrow directly. And maybe that's the difference. I don't know. Bear with me. I'm going to do some more work on it. But here's Citadel right there. And, and here's money markets right here. They are attached at the hip. and it goes throughout the whole system. So I do not care what guarantees there are, because they can only make a guarantee based upon the claims paying ability of the entity. And while they've changed a lot of the rules and dismantled a lot of the Dodd-Frank Act that was designed to protect investors, they did not change the bail-in, which means that the money that you hold in there can be bailed into a failing institution. And they're all failing. They're all flipping failing. Make no mistake about it. So here are the hedge funds, and they're connected to the dealer banks and central counterparties and central banks and money markets, meaning you. You should not feel comfortable about this, because they will be changing the rules again. It will not be in your best interest. They've already been talking about making the money market rules tougher, just like they did after 2008. But it's not, well, I don't have any money markets. If you are holding any wealth inside of this very, very fragile and shifting system, your wealth is at risk. Some of you, unfortunately, do not have the option to withdraw your funds. Personally, I do not own a stock. I do not own a bond. I don't even own, well, I do. I guess you could say fiat dollars are a derivative of gold money and silver money. But I'm an ex-stockbroker. I'm an ex-banker. I have a high level of comfort in understanding these markets, and I don't own any.
Exactly.
I don't give a crap that I lost that 2,000% rally because I'm not a trader. Now, if you're a trader and you're a speculator, that's different. You've got to do what you got to do, and rock and roll, more power to you. But any wealth that you are holding inside of this very, very fragile system needs to be properly diversified with physical gold outside of the system.
Thank you.
And when this whole thing collapses, before that, think back right now, think back to March and April. That will look like a walk in the park. What were the holes in your personal strategy? What did you hear yourself say? I wish I had more savings. I wish I had more toilet paper. I wish I had food in the pantry. I wish. Get those holes plugged.
Yes.
I have been diligently, I had one hole. I have been working on getting that thing plugged. I think I have it plugged now.
If you're struggling, guys, let's use these systems of leverage so that we can get those holes plugged. Because I know we all have holes and things that we need to get taken care of to make sure that we're secure all around. And we all need money to get that done. Everyone needs money. So don't ever think that you don't. We all need money to do it. And so there are opportunities and systems of leverage in order to get that done. And we have to come together and work in unity and community, as she is just explaining, to be able to make that possible for us, for more people. Let's do a better job at helping our people and waking our people up to the, corruptness that's been happening right in front of our eyes with this government that we've given so much power to. Now it's being given back to us. And we have to stand up and be in line to accept that power and not hold each other accountable. We have to be accountable as well. So let's not go back down the road that we've been traveling for so long, and let's accept and embrace the new changes that will come along with this change, with this reset that we're going through.
I'll let you know for sure after everything is said and done, but I'm telling you, get that plugged. And if you need help making a plan, which most people do because most people don't understand the patterns and how to do this, that's what ITM trading is all about. We can help you create that strategy so that you can survive what we're already in the middle of, and perhaps, if you have enough to work with, even be better off on the other side of it. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Okay, this information was coming in fast and furious, so you're going to have to bear with me on it. But silver rallies after Reddit posts about executing a short squeeze. Well, you know, there's a big part of me that's going, hallelujah.
Right.
Because it's about time. They have been long squeezing. In other words, all of us that have been stacking, personally, I take it as a gift because it just means I'm able to continue to accumulate at super cheap levels.
Right.
But if the power, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because it could cause the COMEX, especially if anybody stands for delivery. In other words, they buy this contract and they say deliver the silver. Now, 5,000 ounces of silver, you're going to have some deep pockets. Okay? But they could do that. And if they do that, well, it could take down the COMEX. So, okay, as a first step, so the government's now stepping in, because who's really getting hurt? The hedge funds. Now, expanding upon that, here's the danger. The danger is that this is all a big game and everybody is incestuously interconnected. So what you're going to hear is, oh, the pension funds, oh, the retirement plans, the 401ks, the IRAs, the mutual funds, the ETF. Oh, it's going to hurt the little guy. And so they'll change the rules that actually will hurt the little guy.
Right.
Imagine that. But I'll just read this. As a first step in reining in these abusive practices, I'm not sure which ones they're talking about. I'm kind of thinking that it's more about the short squeezers, so those that are coming in and bidding these things up, whether it's, you know, the Gamestop or another one of those stocks or silver, okay? But as a first step in reining in these abusive practices, I will convene a hearing to examine the recent activity around GameStop stock and other impacted stocks with a focus on short selling online trading and on our capital markets and the retail investors. This is going to be interesting. I knew 2021 was going to be a very, very interesting year. And then this came just before I was coming on. So let's see, Robinhood to allow limited buys of GameStop, AMC, and others tomorrow, because they got such a huge blowback from halting their ability. You could sell it, you just couldn't buy it. And after all, if Robinhood is really about the little guy, well, I didn't have a chance to pull that, but before I came in here, because they stopped people's ability to continue to buy, GameStop had dropped 45%. Is this investing?
No.
Is this where you want to hold your wealth? Because you may say, I don't have GameStop, but I got news for you. This is throughout the whole system.
Exactly.
The whole system is manipulated.
Out
you know,
now.
I did an interview with Patrick over at Silver Bullion TV
with
this
these
morning.
People, they corrupt.
We talked about this a lot, and I had just been buried in it, so I got some more, you know, news on it. You definitely want to see that interview. I can tell you, I thought personally, you may disagree, but I thought it was a fantastic conversation around a lot of things. Because one of the things he said, was about price discovery. Well, the stock market is supposed to be about price discovery. But I was there on Black Monday in 1987, and when they then started the plunge protection team. So I can't actually honestly tell you that this market has not been manipulated up to this point and all of a sudden. But if you remember, it was in 2009 that the Federal Reserve and the other central banks came out and overtly said that they were going to manage these markets. And all it's been has been a one-way market since then. There is no good price discovery in these markets. I've been saying that since 2008,
it's all an illusion.
2009. There is no good price because the system died then. It died.
It's
and it
an
was
illusion.
Put on life support with this money drip into the arm. That's all they have. That's all they have. And every time they do that, the value of what's out there goes down.
There is no money anywhere.
Could this be? We should have pulled out the Jenga set. You'll see the Jenga set. Because could this possibly be the piece that topples the entire system? Because the central banks and the governments, they are between a rock and a hard place. And they are, pardon me, damned if they do and damned if they don't. Because they have to print more money. It's the only tool they have. But that's what's enabled all of this garbage.
Right.
All of this liquidity sloshing around for free. Nothing is free. Nothing. Ooh, I don't want to pay those fees. I guarantee you, the fee that you end up paying that you don't see and you don't know about will always be more dear, more expensive than those fees that you know about. I don't want to pay a premium. Pay the premium. It's your insurance. It's your wealth insurance. Get it done. I don't know that this will be the one to topple it. I don't know that it won't be. We are in a very precarious position. The central bank digital currencies are not ready yet. They're not ready yet. So they don't even have anything to shift us into. We are in deep doo-doo.
Protect yourself in gold and silver, guys.
Deep doo-doo. Get yourself in a position
Get with
to
me. I can
weather
help you.
this storm.
And we can help
Please.
our community, our families, for real.
And I know there have been some challenges when we're going live, getting this notification. So if you're watching this after we're live, please go in. We're trying to fix that, but it's a little bit challenging. So just go in, hit that bell again. And if you're not getting that notification, just keep hitting that bell. You know, Edgar, Carl, and Chris are working on figuring this out. And by the way, you need to watch the interview with George. Boy, I wish we were talking today. It was a great interview with Patrick. You totally want to see that. I know he's going to get that out pretty quickly. And the interview with George Gammon is live now, and it's on YouTube. It's on his channel, though, because I didn't interview him. He interviewed me. But we really had a conversation. So you definitely want to see that one. And next week, I'm so happy about this. I will be a keynote speaker on the Gold Symposium. And it comes out on Friday, February 4th. And I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's all I wanted to share, you guys. I hope you guys got a lot of information out of what she was talking about. You know, I've been telling you guys, gold and silver is the only way to protect your wealth and to really build wealth. That's where the wealth is. We've been thinking that it's in dollars, and it's all an illusion. There is no debt. There is no money. Everything is an illusion. It's just credit. They're printing out paper. It has no backing. It's nothing that's backing it. No physical, tangible anything. And if you don't hold it, you don't own it at all. Period. You're not protecting yourself if you're protecting your money that you work hard for. If you're protecting it in fiat paper promissory notes, it's debt. You need physical gold and silver. So start converting it right now while you can, while it's still low, while it's still affordable, while you can make more money doing it. Get with me. There's opportunities. Don't keep still playing these games with the stock markets and this Forex. I don't even think the Forex market is going to last. So I don't play with it. I mean, I try to dibble and dabble in it, but it's not for me. And it's not for any of us. We need to get out of it and get into real gold and silver. I keep on putting that scripture up about just weights and measures. And God loves just weights and measures. Everything else is an illusion. If it's not no weight on that you can weight on a scale to measure it, like gold and silver and copper and platinum, things of the element of the earth, things that are of natural resource to us, then you're going to continue to keep on bumping your head and being in debt and, you know, in that matrix. Remove yourself from the matrix. You still loving that dollar and that illusion of putting your money in stock. The stock market, first of all, you're purchasing your own stock. You don't even know that your birth certificate is what is put on the stock market to be traded. So you're really buying and purchasing against your own self. What you need to be doing is getting into gold and silver, opting out of their system, getting into real money. They took us away from real money and gave us their debt notes. And that's why we're where we are now. That's why the pandemic is here. All of this coronavirus shit. It's all been corrupt, you guys. All been corrupt. It's all an illusion. It's time to start learning about trust. Try to start learning about your inheritance, like the money that they're borrowing off of from your birth certificate. If you have not claimed it as a man and woman, if you have not claimed it as a living, breathing man or woman, then they're making money off of you and you're buying it right back from them by putting your money into it instead of going and putting it into silver and gold. They got us in a trick bag, y'all. We got to get out of it. I just finished a live covering some of this. Exactly. They got us in a straight trick bag with this illusion of their dollars, with their systems. I don't understand why we as people keep playing in it, thinking that we're going to beat them at their game when they have all inside trades. This is the same repeat of 2008. We should see what's going on. And we have to wake our people up. We have to let them know what's going on. We have to start protecting and getting educated, learning about trust law, learning about commerce, learning about the color of law. You have to learn and teach yourself because we are not operating in our true powers. These people are supposed to work for us and we're working for them. They got the whole game fucked up and twisted. And it's time to take back our power. And the only way that you're going to do that is through your mindset. It's through the education and your knowledge. It's not going to get another job, punching a clock for nobody else, or anything of that nature. It's none of that shit. It's not going to get you nowhere, but continue to be in bondage. That's how they were. That's how they programmed you. That's how they were able to get you where you are today, in a trick bag. Your money should be in gold and silver. It should be in gold. That's where the true wealth is, in gold and silver. That's why the banks are hoarding it. They stole all of the gold and silver in 1933 or something, and then they gave us their little fake fucking fiat dollars, and then took it all the way off of the backing in 1971. And we've been in deep doodle shit debt since. And nobody's caught on to this. This shit happened before I was even born. And it took us to have to get to this point to fucking figure some shit out like this. Like, they really thought they had shit. They had us really like bamboozled for a long time. But now their system is collapsing and falling. And I will be damned if I let it happen again. So I just wanted to say that, y'all, we got to opt out of the system of debt. Opt out of it. Get into gold and silver. I have beautiful ways of us doing it as a community and building each other up, lifting each other up. Beautiful ways of doing that. Get with me. We can all eat. We can all build our wealth up and help our families, help the people around us. And then whatever you want to do, I mean, it'll be up to you, but you got to get out of this, debt fiat-based system, like, period. Get out of it. Get the dollars while you can. Yes, people don't even know what fiat means. Exactly. This dollar is based on confidence, not real material. Right. It's not based off of anything. They took the backing off. The real money is silver and gold. Has always been for over 5,000 years. That's where the real money is. Then they gave us Christianity, gave us the Bible. Then Kirk Franklin came around some years ago with this silver and gold bullshit. I'd rather have Jesus bullshit. And now we so detached from what Mother Nature gave us, it's ridiculous. We don't even know that gold and silver is the real money. That is the real money. Wake up, y'all. Please wake up. I'm begging y'all, man. We got to come together. We got to wake up. And we got to start listening, paying attention to each other more, and educating our people. Like, no matter how it hurts, the truth hurts, but we gotta be realistic, and the truth will set you free at the same time. So that's all I wanted to say. It's your girl Shay Marie. Y'all can watch the replay, definitely. She gives a lot of valuable information on here that you can really learn from. Learn about the what's been happening with this economy. Go to her page, ITM Trading, and watch all of her videos. She's a very, very knowledgeable woman. She's been doing this for over 30 years. So I love her wisdom. I love her inner and understanding about what's happening with this economy, with the government, with these corrupt systems that got us all in a trick bag. And I think you appreciate her knowledge and wisdom too. So until next time, y'all, it's your girl. I'll see y'all later. No, I can't even.